Hi there, and welcome to part 4723. No, part 12 of the RSS feeds PHP series that I'm making about how to deploy RSS on your website. Now, if you've been following the series, you probably have a database, you have a cron system set in place where you can collect stories, and you probably have several hundred stories in your database. So now you need to get those out onto the page. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you the index.htm that you downloaded to begin with from the Holy Grail system. And I'm not going to write this entire code for you, so I'm just going to kind of go through and explain exactly how I've got this laid out, and we'll do a couple of demos here. So anyway, what we're doing here, I'm going to go ahead and go to what I've already changed as index PHP. And that's what I've called mine, is index PHP. I might have said call it headlines, but you can go ahead and call it index PHP because this is where you want to start all of your system from. So we're really concerned with a few pages here, a couple of scripts. You have index, you have your include files for index, and then you also have result here, which is going to be the result of when someone types something into the search engine that you have on your site. And you're also going to have detail. Now, detail PHP is where someone's going to land when they go to your Twitter feed, and we're going to get into that Twitter feed here shortly. But anyway, let me go ahead and go on Twitter real quick here and show you. So we're getting to Twitter, and let me get to the right account. Okay, save for blog. We'll go in there. And this is where one of my news feeds resides on. So we're going to go to tweets. You can see this thing's tweeted 42,218 times. And the last time is going to be just a few minutes ago, I'm sure. Yep, 4 minutes. So anyway, when you click this link or when someone goes to your Twitter and clicks this link, they're going to go to this detail page. And as you can see up here in the URL bar, it says detail PHP FID equals, and this is story number 9306. So I have 9,306. Well, that's the ID behind that story, but I have 9,200 or 92,800 stories in that one, or whatever. But anyway, yeah, let me close that back out because we don't need that anymore. So that's where people are going to go when they go to your website. They're going to go to the detail page, and also over here on the right, latest headlines. This will take them to the detail page. So you're going to need that detail page in place, and that way someone can click on a story title. And you can see this title coincides with what I've clicked on, the AOPA. And let me go to power loss over rough seas. Click on that, and you'll see that the title comes up, power loss over rough seas. So, okay, as far as that goes, let's go back to the code. All right, that's the detail page. You're going to have a result page, and you're going to have the index page. So in this video, I'll probably split this up because these videos have been going kind of long. I'll probably split it up so that index and these other resulting pages are in different videos. So let's go back to what you've got, index.htm. So what we want to do is we want to split these portions into their own files. So the first file we're going to be concerned with is a header file. So if you're using Notepad++, and I hope you are because I told you to use Notepad++ early on in this series. If you just click on the div ID header, you can see where it ends div ID here. Okay, so we'll just take that right there like that exactly, and we're going to copy that. We're going to create a new file. We're going to paste that into the new file, and we're going to call that file save as, and I'd like to save it in header, but I'm just gonna make a new folder here because I've already made this to test it all out and make sure it works. So I'm making a new folder called testing, and that's where I'm going to save that. So instead of new 4, that's going to be header.php. Okay, so now we have our header file. So we go back over here to, where was I? Index.htm. So instead of that, what we're going to do is we're just going to take that completely out of there because we already have that. We don't need it. And instead of that, we're going to put include and we're going to, in quotations, and then with a semicolon behind it, we're going to include header PHP. I made a colon. Make sure you make a semicolon instead of a colon. And what that does is when I save this as a PHP document, that's going to allow that to open as a PHP document. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and save this in that file that I just created, or in that folder. Oops. Didn't mean to do just save. I meant to do save as. So we're going to climb up the stream here, and we're going to go to testing where I put that header file. We're going to call this index, and we're going to choose PHP either from our drop down, or we can just type PHP at the end, and we save that. So now it's a PHP document. So in order for it to be a workable PHP document, what we need to do in this case is we're going to put a PHP tag at the top, because we're going to need to open our database with this file, and we're also going to need to connect to our functions file. So rather than type that out, I'm just going to copy this right here and paste it. So let's see, index PHP, and we're pasting that. We have PHP code up here. So now for this include, I need to put a PHP tag here because we broke the PHP tag here. So I'm going to just put this, I'm just going to copy that and paste that in front of include. Alright, so there's the PHP tag. I'm going to give it a space, and then I'm going to close the PHP tag with a question mark and that right there. So now when I open this file, it will include this header, and I don't have to have that header directly in the file. So let's go back to what I have for a real index PHP, and for column 1 I have headline 2 echo feed title. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste that over there as well, and I can get rid of all of column 1. So let's go in between the divs here, and then you see where it says column 1 begin, column 1 end. Just highlight the entire thing, get rid of it, and paste that in, or type that in, h2 feed PHP. I've got 2 tags there, so I'm not sure what that's about. Let me look back on my index PHP and see why I've got that. Yeah, that's actually a mistake on my part. Oh, you know what? It's not a mistake, because what I'm doing is I'm using those as like arrows, kind of like it's called breadcrumbs. So we're going to go ahead and leave that back in there, and you'll see on the main page what I'm talking about here. Let me go back to that real quick. Yeah, you see this arrow? This is saying you're in database details, you're in power loss over rough seas. So yeah, okay, never mind on that. So that's our column 1. Now look at the div class column 2. We can see that column 2, which actually column 2 is, column 1 is the center, column 2 I think is the left, not really sure. Okay, let me go back to my really made file, okay, and I can see, okay, in column 1 I have echo HTML, HTML2, and HTML3, and this is coming from our function script, and I will make a copy of the function script available to you. So go ahead and make this index PHP right there where you have column 1 and the feed. Just go ahead and break the line, enter, go down below, and echo HTML, echo HTML2, and echo HTML3. Now, if you don't want to have advertising, you can modify this other file, but because I am having advertising in here, I'm not going to modify it. I'm actually going to, this is where I'm going to put my AdSense code in this, and this is where I'm going to put my AdSense code in that. So at any rate, that handles our center column. So let's go back over here to index.php, and we can see that our column 1 ends, our div ends, right there. Okay, now let's go down to column 2. And we've got a div on column 2, and the div says PHP include left column. So all of our text for the left column is a PHP script that's left column, and I'll show you that. And this is the entire script. Form action result PHP method get search entire news database, input name equals FID, type equals text, size equals 36, max length 88. That is our search box. Then you close with a closing input, or you actually add an input button, a submit button, input type submit value equals search, or you can write anything you want to in value that you want to appear on that button. Then I've got a few non-breaking spaces, and then that ends my form. And then I've got a break and another break tag, and then below that I have a break tag, and then or select one of, and then PHP echo feed num, which is coming again from this function script, and then news feeds, which is a link. No, it's not a link, that's a title. And then a couple more breaks, and then echo nav, and this puts out, that outputs, let me show you again in the browser, that outputs the names of all of the news feeds that you have put into your database system right there. And the top part is the search box, which is not going to work right now until we employ that search functionality script. So let's go back to the Notepad++. So this is what you want to make for your left column, PHP. Now just get this in high def, pause, and make that script in just exactly the same way that you see it right here. And when you get back, we're going to go back over to index.php, and you'll see that that's what I have there. So now you'll want to look at this in high def again, pause, and then where column 2 started and column 2 ends, you just put this PHP include left column.php. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back over here to this index.php. I'm going to double click this div, or just single click this div class column 2, and I can see where the comment starts column 2 and the comment ends column 2. So I'm just going to go down here to the very bottom, and I'm going to delete everything except these two comments right here, beginning and end, and I'm going to paste in include, or you're going to have to type this in, include left column.php. Make sure that you put these thingamajigs in here, and then that's that. Okay, next we move on to column 3, and you can see that in the template there's a whole lot going on in column 3. We don't want any of that. So once again, where the comment begins and where the comment ends, just tear everything out from between that comment, and I'm going to show you write PHP. Now this is where you're going to put a headline, H2, recent stories from all feeds is what I have in there, and then below that I have a paragraph tag, and it says these are the latest stories added to the database with so many information sources pulled into one place. These stories move off the page in a hurry. Clicking on these will take you to the feed page on this site. And then I have an H3, latest headlines, and I have PHP echo latest. Alright, latest is a part of the functions PHP file, which I am going to provide you with. But you will need to make a page that says this exact stuff on it. Now, one other thing I want to tell you, I have a meta refresh tag at the top, and I have this content for 300 seconds. So that means every 300 seconds or 5 minutes, this page is going to refresh itself and put the latest stories up on the page. So as long as somebody has this page open, I can have it refresh every 300 seconds. If you have really fast moving news, you might want to drop this back a little bit, but 300 seconds means once every 5 minutes it'll refresh. Now, the problem I have found with this is if you put AdSense on your pages and somebody has this page loaded up and they don't move out of this page and it refreshes, every time it refreshes it's going to show you a hit on your AdSense. It's not going to credit you any money because nobody's clicking anything. But you're going to see, wow, I'm getting 800 hits. No, you're not getting 800 hits. What happened is some guy opened up your page and went to sleep. So bear in mind when you put this refresh in there, if you're running ads on your site and you have this refresh, I have had people leave these pages open for days, and I have seen where they've left them open for days. And so I ended up taking that out. And that's up to you. Your mileage may vary. So let's go back over to index.php, and we've cleaned out almost everything. So now we're going to do the footer. All you have to do, once again, you click on div ID footer, and you copy that right there. Copy. And then you go to a file that you're going to call footer PHP, and you paste that in to footer PHP. You save this file as footer PHP. Then when you edit this file, every page that we're going to build from here on out is going to use the same include convention. So when you edit this file, it's going to change on every single page all through your site. So let's go here and take a look real quick. This is what you should end up with when you're done. Something along these lines. If you followed these instructions completely, you will end up with this. And before we close out this particular session, we'll go back over here to functions PHP. Now, I'm going to make a copy of this and leave this down below. You will need to, excuse me, you will need to take this functions.txt, put it in your server under scripts. Okay, in your scripts directory, put this in your server and call it functions.php. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now while you're watching. I'm going to hit select all, copy, and I'm going to create a new document, and I'm going to paste it in there, and going to save as in the free scripts directory, functions.txt. So, well, I'm not even going to do the .text. I'm just going to, because it says .text. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And I will upload that to the server, and you will find that on PHP Rocks. That's PHPROX.com. So go ahead and make those scripts, and I will see you back here in the next video. And in the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and upload these scripts to a server. If you do not have a server yet, at this point, we're about to get into making the Twitter bot for this thing. So you need to secure a server. If you have not secured a server, follow the link down below. I really would appreciate it, and it will help me out quite a bit. You can get a server with a discount using my affiliate links, either through GoDaddy or HostGator, whoever I have in there at the time you watch this video. If you want to use exactly the same server I'm using, you would use a host, or not a HostGator, you would use a GoDaddy server. So go to GoDaddy and pick their server from either the center one or the one all the way to the right. Don't pick the lowest grade server, because that's going to have limitations, and it really doesn't cost very much more to get the mid-grade server. Also, if you could buy it for a year, that pays me a little better. I really do appreciate it if you do that. If you already have a server, ignore that. And we will see you in the next video. If this helped you, please give me a thumbs up, comment, rate, subscribe, and see you back here in a minute.